Hi, and welcome back to the Boulder Bookstore YouTube channel. My name is Liesl Freudenstein, and I am the children's buyer and YA buyer for the bookstore. The National Book Award finalists just got announced this week, so I thought I'd spend a little time telling you a little bit about them. The first one is We Are Not Free by CHEE. It takes place in the year and months right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and it's the story of 14 teens who are of Japanese, they're first generation Japanese Americans. It takes place in San Francisco, and they do get interned into the camps. So the back of it says, all around me my friends are talking, joking, laughing, outside is the camp, the barbed wire, the guard towers, the city, and the country that hates us. We are not free, but we are not alone. So I started it. It's going to be a great read, but it's going to be a tough one because it's not going to pull any punches. It is based on Tracy Chee's family's history, so that'll be interesting to see where she pulls her elements from. All the reviews sound really, really great, but again, bring a hanky. The next one is When the Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jamieson and Omar Mohamed. This is another refugee book, but it takes place, they're Syrian refugees, so it does take place in a camp. Omar and his younger brother have spent most of their lives in the camp, but Omar is getting offered a chance to go to school, but that does mean that he will have to leave his brother behind, and his brother has special needs. It sounds like he's nonverbal. It's a graphic novel, so I think that's very exciting. I think it's one of the first times that a graphic novel has actually been on the list for a National Book Award, so that's wonderful. We love our graphic novels here. Victoria Jamieson wrote Roller Girl and All's Fair, which I really liked. And it is, again, based on somebody's real-life experiences because Omar Mohamed is the Omar that is mentioned in the book. So that one looks good. Actually, they all look good. I don't know what I'm saying. The third one on the list is by KACEN CALLENDER, The King and the Dragonflies. This takes place in the Louisiana Bayou. King's older brother has died, and King is convinced that he is turned into a dragonfly because there was a dragonfly who flew in and out of the church during the burial, the funeral ceremony. King is also going through some identity issues, not just being a young black boy in the bayou, so there's racism involved in that, and disenfranchising and things, but also he might be gay. KACEN is famous for their award-winning Hurricane Child book, which also dealt with the issue. Again, another hard-hitting book, not pulling any punches, but also a beautiful, wonderful read. The next book on the list is Everybody Looking by CANDICE ILOH, and it is told in verse, much like the POETX, which won the National Book Award in 2018. It is a young woman going off to school at a historically black college, and once again dealing with growing up. Her father is Nigerian, her mother is African American, so again we have sort of an immigrant story going on in first generations and expectations that are put on the children of immigrants. So she, when she goes off to college, is exploring herself, her body, her sexuality, and what it means to be her and not what somebody expects her to be. Told in verse, I think I mentioned that. The last one I actually don't have any copies of, so I can't hold it up, but it's called The Way Back, and it's a Jewish fantasy story. Let me see, I'm going to have to read from the sheet here. This says, perfect for readers of Neil Gaiman and Philip Pullman, a sweeping historical fantasy that follows two teens on a journey through the far country, a Jewish land of spirits and demons. So it's heavily rooted in Eastern Jewish mythology, or Eastern European Jewish mythology, and it sounds like a great middle grade fantasy book. I'm looking forward to getting our copies. We do have them on order, so it should be here hopefully in about a week. In case you missed the previous year's National Book Award winners. What won in 2019 was the book 1919 it's a nonfiction book, The Year That Changed America, about the race riots that happened in 1919. Lots of pictures. And then, as I mentioned, in 2018, the POETX did win for that. It's a heart-stopping, award-winning novel in verse about an unstoppable young Afro-Latina poet who tells her own story with blazing words and powerful truth. I've heard Elizabeth Acevedo speak, and she does slam poetry, and it's really, really awesome. And I think that if you can get an audio version of this from Libro FM, that might be a really great way to enjoy and explore this book, because it's a written word and it's slam poetry, so it's really great. Normally, I don't get to read all of the finalists. Usually I've read like one or two, but I've never actually read the winner, so like before it gets announced. So I think I'm going to set a goal for myself, and I'm going to read all of these before the announcement on November 18th, and hopefully you can join me, and let's see if we can pick a finalist. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day.